Imagine waking up on a quiet morning in 1942, somewhere along the east coast of the United States. You stroll to the beach, and there, in the distance, black smoke rises from the sea. An oil tanker burns, explosions echo across the waves, and you realize the war has come home. But there were no headlines, no warnings, and no one told the American people that Nazi submarines were hunting just miles from their shores. This is the untold story of Operation Drumbeat, the secret German invasion of America's coastline. An offensive so swift, so devastating, that it sank more than 400 ships before the public even knew what was happening. When the United States entered World War II after Pearl Harbor, Germany's U-boat commanders saw an opportunity. The Atlantic was America's lifeline, filled with oil tankers, troop transports, and supply convoys steaming toward Britain. To Admiral Karl Dönitz, head of the German U-boat fleet, he called it Paukenschlag, Operation Drumbeat, a single, crushing blow meant to cripple America before it could even join the fight. In January 1942, just weeks after war was declared, 5 of Germany's most advanced submarines, the Type 9 U-boats, set sail across the Atlantic. Each carried torpedoes, food, and fuel for months at sea. Their orders were simple: attack anything flying the American flag. The U-boats arrived undetected, and what they found stunned them. America's coastal cities were still lit up at night, bright enough to silhouette ships against the horizon. Tankers and freighters sailed alone, without escorts, without zigzag maneuvers, without blackout conditions. It was, as one German captain later said, like a shooting gallery. In their first week alone, the submarines sank 10 ships. Oil fires burned off Cape Hatteras, the Gulf Coast, and even within sight of New York City. Bodies and wreckage washed ashore, sometimes within view of tourists. And yet official reports downplayed the attacks. The government feared panic, and the Navy wasn't ready to admit the truth. The Atlantic coast was under siege. By spring, the situation was desperate. German submarines roamed from Maine to Florida, sometimes surfacing to shell coastal targets. In one chilling incident, a U-boat surfaced off Jacksonville, Florida, and fired its deck gun at a refinery. In another, fishermen were rescued from flaming seas just off New Jersey. The press remained silent, but coastal residents knew something terrible was happening. They saw oil slicks. They found lifeboats drifting ashore, and in the night, the thunder of distant explosions became almost routine. Historians would later call this period the Second Happy Time, a dark echo of Germany's earlier U-boat victories in the Atlantic. In just 6 months, nearly 400 ships were sunk and 5,000 sailors killed right off the coast of the United States. So why was America caught so unprepared? Because its Navy was stretched thin, focused on the Pacific and the protection of convoys to Britain. Admiral Ernest King, Chief of Naval Operations, refused to implement a coastal convoy system, believing it would limit flexibility. That decision cost countless lives. Meanwhile, the German captains grew bold. They refueled at sea, used weather reports from local radio stations, and even tuned into American music as they hunted. They called it the greatest hunting grounds in history. But the tide would eventually turn. By mid-1942, the U.S. Navy introduced coastal convoys, aircraft patrols, and radar-equipped blimps. The once invisible hunters began to fall prey to depth charges and escort destroyers. The Atlantic became a graveyard, not for American ships this time, but for U-boats. Still, the damage was done. Between January and August 1942, the Germans had sunk nearly 3 million tons of Allied shipping, much of it within sight of the U.S. coastline.
Operation Drumbeat had exposed a terrifying truth, that even a mighty nation could be caught sleeping when war crossed the ocean. For decades, the details of those attacks were buried in classified files. But divers today still find the rusting hulks, tankers, freighters, and patrol boats lying silent beneath American waters. Each one a forgotten reminder that the front lines of World War II were closer than anyone dared to believe. This was the invasion no one saw, the war that touched American shores, the day Nazi submarines came for the United States and almost got away with it.